But first, to the Biden family and the many questions they have to answer after the New York Post bombshell story revealing Hunter Biden essentially sold access to his vice president father. The story is sensational stuff, but the bulk of the media is either ignoring it or claiming without a shred of evidence that it's part of a Russian disinformation effort. Yes, the same media for more than 3 years pushed insane Russian conspiracy theories is again using Russia as an all-purpose excuse not to do their job. Because doing their job would be devastating for their preferred candidate, Joe Biden. By the way, no one from the Biden camp has claimed that the emails aren't real. If these emails were in any way fabricated or manipulated by the Russians or anybody else for that matter, wouldn't Hunter or Joe Biden come out and say so? Here's why this story is important. When Joe Biden was vice president, he was given responsibility for US-Ukraine relations. He travelled to the Eastern European country around a dozen times. But the question is, did he subvert US foreign policy to help his family line their pockets? You see, at the very time when Joe was vice president with a keen interest in Ukraine, his deadbeat son Hunter had somehow secured a very lucrative deal with a shady Ukrainian company, Burisma. Hunter received $83,000 per month in consultancy fees from the Ukrainian gas company, despite the fact that he had zero industry experience or expertise. What Hunter, who was kicked out of the Navy for drug abuse, did have is a father in the White House. The Post uncovered emails showing Joe Biden met with a top Burisma executive at Hunter's urging, despite the fact that Biden is on the record saying he's never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings. Far worse than that meeting is what happened next. Burisma was being investigated by a Ukrainian prosecutor. They wanted that to be stopped. Joe Biden made that happen.
I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired.
Yes, that's Joe Biden on video bragging about threatening to withhold a $1 billion loan guarantee during a 2015 trip to the Ukraine, purely to pressure the president and prime minister to sack the prosecutor who happened to be investigating Burisma, the company that was coincidentally paying his unqualified son $1 million a year. We now know from the emails that the pressure to sack the prosecutor came mere months after Joe Biden allegedly met with the Burisma executive though the former vice president is claiming that the only reason he wanted that prosecutor removed was because of corruption concerns. Remember, they tried to impeach Trump for asking the Ukrainians to look into these antics. Not surprisingly, much of the media and big tech, who have all but declared a fatwa on Trump, have ignored this story. Twitter not only disappeared a legitimate news story and lied about the reasons why, but it then promoted as their top story a verifiable lie, claiming then Vice President Biden played no role in pressuring Ukraine officials into firing the prosecutor. Despite the fact there is a video of Biden confirming he played a role. We just played it for you. As for Biden, he wasn't even asked about these explosive revelations during his town hall this week, which was moderated by a former Democrat press secretary and senior Clinton advisor. My gosh. When he was finally asked, Joe Biden didn't do too well. He just attacked the journalist.
Mr. Biden, what is your response to the New York Post story about your son, sir?
I know you'd ask it. I have no response. It's another smear campaign. Right up your alley. They're the questions you always ask.
In the past, when Biden has been asked about his dodgy son's dodgy dealings, he has reacted with righteous anger.
And I can get things done. That's why I'm running. And you want to check my shape on? Let's do push-ups together here, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Let's take the 9 push-ups. Number two. No one has said my son has done anything wrong, and I did not on any occasion. And no one has ever said it. Not
I
one.
didn't say you were doing anything wrong.
You said I set up my son to work in an oil company. Isn't that what you said? Get your words straight, Jack.
That's what I hear on MSNBC.
You don't hear that on MSNBC. You did not hear that at all. What you heard, look, okay, I'm not going to get in an argument with you, man.
Well, I don't want to.
Well, yeah, you do, but look, Fat, look, here's the deal.
Look, Fat, here's the deal. This story doesn't end at Ukraine. There are now emails showing Hunter Biden trying to cash in on behalf of his family with Chinese firms. Indeed, the emails seem to indicate that a delegation of Chinese businessmen and Communist Party officials secured a private, off-the-books meeting with the then Vice President. But don't expect to see the media dig too deep because they're far too invested in getting Biden over the line. And good Lord, he needs all the help he can get.
So please, vote. Help us get out the vote. Go to iwillvote.com/MI. In Detroit, more than 20 years. Look, you have now 20 early voting centers. They're open now all across the city. Open 7 days a week on Election Day. It's a one-stop shop.
Why is he shouting and looking so irrationally angry? Here's Joe just killing it at another rousing campaign rally.
He's winning back the United States Senate and expanding our majority in the House of Representatives. That's why we need to send Gary back to Washington, D.C.
Dear. Trump doesn't have to beat Biden to win. He has to overcome the most extraordinarily biased media campaign any politician has ever faced, as well as interference from big tech, including Facebook, Twitter and Google, not to mention the soft coup from government agencies involved in the Russian collusion hoax and more. If he does pull it off, it would be the most astonishing victory in modern political history.